The left really wants to erase Trump, and I mean erase Trump. I don't just mean prevent him from running again. They just don't want his presence to be felt in American culture at all. So there's a bill now that House Democrats have introduced, H.R. 484. I'm kind of chuckling. It prevents Trump's name for being used on federal projects, to name federal buildings, for any federal statues, or any lands being named after Donald Trump. You know, it's customary to name Navy ships and highways and all kinds of things after presidents. They want to make sure Trump doesn't get this honor. They also want to ban Trump from being buried in Arlington National Cemetery. I mean, Trump has a way of getting to these people like I've never seen. He's almost like the exorcist, you know? He comes in with this holy water, and these people are like, argh! They respond with this kind of insane derangement and ferocious, ghoulish reactions. I mean, it's almost fun to watch. Now, in my book, United States of Socialism, I kind of warned this was going to happen because I knew the effect that he had on these people. I wrote this: if Trump loses in 2020, the left will treat his term as a regrettable blip, a moment in history when Americans lost their mind and then returned to their senses. There will be a comprehensive effort to sweep away everything connected with Trump, to wipe away not only the Trump stain, but to discredit all of us who ever said anything positive about Trump. Now, the pretext, the rationale for this is that Trump is a clear danger to democracy. Now, it seems ironic because if Trump is a danger to democracy, why would you, the Democrats, try to prevent Trump from running again? You're trying to prevent the American people from having this choice on the ballot. And that's a strike against democracy in a very direct way. Now, the Democrats, of course, will say, well, Trump was the guy who fomented this insurrection. And I want to talk for a moment about insurrection because insurrection is a very serious business. And we know about insurrections, and insurrections have occurred throughout history. I have here my copy of Julius Caesar, and I want to talk for a moment about insurrection because they talk specifically about it. Here's Brutus. When he is thinking about the conspiracy to go after Caesar. Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or hideous dream. The genius and mortal instruments are then in council, and the state of man, like to a little kingdom, suffers then the nature of an insurrection. So here's Brutus, and he is planning, you may say, the dreadful deed. And then Brutus and Cassius are talking about it. And they talk specifically about what's going to happen. Cassius, I think it is not meet means suitable here, Mark Antony, so well beloved of Caesar, should outlive Caesar. Let Antony and Caesar fall together. And then Brutus opposes that idea. So we see here with insurrection, there has to be this kind of explicit plotting. They have to decide what is it that they're going to do. That wasn't the case with Trump. And then the actual deed. You have these armed conspirators, Brutus, Cassius. They're in with Caesar, and they attack him. And Caesar goes, et tu, Brute, and you too, Brutus? Then falls Caesar. And then you have the celebration after Caesar falls. Cinna, liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead. Run hence, proclaim, cry it in the streets. So here we have coup, conspiracy, insurrection. This is not what happened on January 6th. In fact, if Shakespeare were to write about what happened on January 6th, his way, it would be something like this. Brutus and Cassius and Cinna are talking, and they decide it's time to launch a coup. And Brutus goes, wow, you know what? I better put on my animal suit. In fact, I've got a pair of old bull horns. I'm going to put those on. And then Cinna goes, I don't think any of us need any weapons. What's the point of weapons? Why don't we just go in there unarmed? We can have an unarmed coup. And then Cassius goes, you know what? It's going to be really fun. I'm kind of hoping to make off with Caesar's podium. It'll be really fun. And I'm going to bring my portrait painter so he can make pictures of me doing it, kind of the ancient equivalent of the selfie. What I'm trying to get at here is that if Shakespeare were to do that, Julius Caesar would have been a comedy. It would be laugh out loud. It would be a spoof. It would be Saturday Night Live for the Renaissance era. Insurrection requires planning beforehand. It requires bloody and armed execution. It requires a certain kind of exaltation and planning for the aftermath. And clearly none of that was even present here. So it's not even a matter of Trump fomenting an insurrection. It wasn't even an insurrection.